moving on to topic 2. With our little revelation of episode 5 of WandaVision with Quicksilver showing up from the X-Men universe, I kind of wanted to revisit the X-Men films and just kind of talk about them real quick and just talk about like the hits and misses that these movies had, because they certainly had some good movies, certainly had some bad movies. Yeah, it's just interesting. It's interesting how this franchise went, like, from such highs to such far lows. So yeah, I just thought it'd be fun to kind of briefly talk about the films and my thoughts about them all. So altogether, let's see, we got these broken up in different eras. We got the X-Men original trilogy, we got the Wolverine trilogy, we got what Wikipedia is calling the X-Men Beginnings films. We got the Deadpool films, and then we got Dead Mutants. I've seen all of these films except for, did I say Dead Mutants? New Mutants. I've seen all of them except for New Mutants. So we got X-Men X2, X-Men Last Stand, X-Men Origins Wolverine, The Wolverine, Logan, First Class, Days of Future Past, X-Men Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix, Deadpool 1, Deadpool 2, and New Mutants itself. So yeah, I think we definitely started off strong, very strong, with X-Men and X2. I think something that the X-Men franchise had going for it, at least early on in its lifespan, was the casting. I think casting for these films were really good. I think everybody did an excellent job in their role. Obviously, we had the recast of Sabretooth. I think that might have been the only miss, really. But I thought everybody else really played their role well, and nobody felt like out of place, or maybe just like not into it or committed, like some later roles will show up, and I don't know how they'll play out. I guess. I don't know who Doug Ray Scott is. But yeah, so those were really good. I know a lot. X-Men Last Stand, I know a lot of people fall out with. He's a Scottish actor, gotcha. And that's the thing I want to say about all these films, except for obviously the only one I haven't seen, which is New Mutants, is like, there are good aspects of all these films, and at the time, like, certain ones, I was like, yeah, that was good, or whatever, and it was fine. Like, it hit that fine line of, like, I didn't regret spending my time watching this, but I might not go back and watch it again, if that makes sense. Some of them, yeah, you can go back and just like, I wasn't that strong. I don't know. I feel like X-Men Last Stand gets a lot more hate than maybe it deserves, and maybe that's a hot take. I'm trying, like, it's been, okay, granted, it's been a while since I've seen some of these movies, so maybe it's just not as fresh in my mind of how butt it is. But just thinking about it right now, I don't know. Last Stand just doesn't feel like as shitty as people put it. Yeah. Origins Wolverine, though, that's a whole nother story. Are there cool aspects of that movie? Yes, absolutely. I know a lot of people were upset with Deadpool getting, his mouth shut and the whole handling of his character. But I did think it was cool in a way of how, obviously, like, Gambit was very cool in that movie, how we saw him. It was a short one, but Blob in that movie was a cool, like, kind of side character. We obviously got a little bit more history with Stryker being in the story, and obviously figuring out how Wolverine got the claws with the adamantium. So, I thought it did a good job overall of giving that backstory. It's just like, I don't know. Last Stand killing off Cyclops off screen. Was it off screen? Yeah, I guess it was. I thought that was good for the storytelling in Last Stand. He finds Jean. Yeah. No, I remember that. I thought that was good for the storytelling. Of like, oh shit, problems, just the shades, right? Of like how serious this problem is, in her being the Dark Phoenix, or being the Phoenix at this point. Sorry. So yeah, because I liked forgetting the actor's name. I like the guy who plays Cyclops. Like I said, I thought the casting in the original 3 were very, very good. For who they got to play who. James Marsden can't stop getting killed off. He's similar to Sean Bean in that aspect. But yeah, I thought that was really good for the storytelling of, like I said, showing the gravity of like, oh shit, this is the problem. Let's see. I tried watching them all with the kids the other day and discovered I can only watch about 2 at a time. My brain starts to try and track the the order of events there. Yeah, that is another thing that the X-Men movies, I guess, overall just did not handle well, is timelines. Yeah, that's definitely a negative throughout. It's unfortunate, but, oof. Sometimes it can't be overlooked in a way, or just makes you scratch your head so much. So yeah, going back to Origins. So yeah, Origins I thought was okay. I can definitely understand the criticisms of it not being the best. One that I definitely feel like does not get enough love is The Wolverine. Not the best movie ever, but like I didn't see any negative aspects in this film that were like, oh, that was god awful, or at least nothing that's coming to mind that stands out. Excuse me. I feel like this movie just got like a lot of hate because of Origins, to be honest. It just had that like people preconceived notion, I guess is the right term. Like a lot of people just like, oh, this is a direct sequel to that. No, thank you. But yeah, the Wolverine was really good. You got Silver Samurai in there, which was dope, and it was just a dope, like, singular storyline that didn't have to tie in super much into the rest of the X-Men universe. I really enjoy that movie. Haven't seen it in a while, but yeah, I just think that one does not get as much attention as it should. Skip ahead to Logan, obviously a few years, and Logan was fucking fantastic. If you haven't seen Logan, once again, another similar to The Wolverine, another standalone story. You get a little bit of callbacks here and there, some references to Last Stand, some other characters showing up, but man, that movie is fucking great. Yeah, really, really good. Logan is. If you guys haven't seen it, highly recommend it. Definitely a different tone than the rest of the movies. More violent than the other ones, and I think it's rated R. Has that darker tone. Yeah, it gets foreshadowed, so it does have the connective tissue to the Wolverine for sure. Fantastic movie. Fantastic. And then we get to the beginning films, or the X-Men Beginnings, or whatever they're called. We got First Class, Days of Future Past, Apocalypse, and Dark Phoenix. This is where we start falling apart. Not gonna lie. We start off, I really enjoyed First Class. Not even gonna lie. I understand the criticisms we have. We got Darwin, the hero that can't die and adapts to stuff. Dying immediately. That's definitely a bad one. That is definitely a bad one. But I thought they introduced a lot of cool characters. We got Azrael. We got Banshee was really cool. I didn't expect to like him as much. We got Havoc was cool. Obviously, we got a lot of origins for like Beast and Mystique and the young Charles Xavier and young Magneto, which once again, casting, they did really well. They continued on that trend with getting the actors for this film. I think it starts falling apart in... I'm trying to think. I think it's Days of Future Past. We start seeing the new Cyclops and new Jean Grey, if I'm not mistaken. Or is that Apocalypse? Future Past was a good movie. I enjoyed that one a lot. obviously we get the mix of the new and the old timelines weaving together. I know story-wise it can be a little bit confusing because we're jumping back and forth in between timelines here and there. But Days of Future Past is a fun one for them to tackle and to do. And then, yeah, Apocalypse. Apocalypse, they don't show up until Apocalypse. Okay, thank you very much. Days is pretty solid. Okay, so yeah, Apocalypse is the start of the, oh boy, the downfall. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so they get a new Cyclops, they get a new Jean Grey, we get a new Nightcrawler. We get, I feel like there's another one or two that get added in there. I don't think Jubilee's till Dark Phoenix. New Storm, right? Who was barely in this thing? New Angel. Young, yes, true. I don't know. It did not do, like, ugh. Another Caliban. I'm trying to remember that one. I don't remember Caliban too well. Yeah, I don't know. Apocalypse just did not have a strong storyline, and I had so much hope for like Oscar Isaac as Apocalypse. I know a lot of people made the Ivan Ooze references, comparisons. Logan came out a year after. It just didn't, I don't know, something about it just did not connect as well. And Dark Phoenix, like, was a tale of like 8 different stories being mashed together. I think Act 3 was the best, and like that was filmed differently, or like a different director was in charge of it. I remember hearing some weird thing. I think it was Act 3 was the best. I think it was, because it was like filmed and shot all differently. Oh God, I remember going to that movie, and my buddy Noel and I were just like afterwards, like, what the fuck? What happened? I don't know. There's not much to say, just other than ugh, with that, to be honest. I don't know if it was the pacing of how they were telling that. If you take it on its own, Dark Phoenix is okay, but if you watch it in the frame of the others, it's terrible. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's the thing, too. Like, you could take any of these where it's like, oh, that's good, oh, that's bad, and, like, you separate yourself as much as you can from everything else or all the opinions. If you go into it with that blank slate, you're going to get something out of it that is at least, all right. So, yeah. Rolling to the Deadpools. Deadpool 1 was great just because it was what people wanted. And Deadpool. Ryan Reynolds did a fantastic job playing the character. I don't have much to say about Deadpool 1 and 2 other than Deadpool 2. I don't know. It was fine. It just felt like now, don't get me wrong. It did have a different storyline. But it felt very much like almost like a rehash of the first one. Very similar to how, like, okay, Star Wars Episode 7, it's not the same exact thing, but it's very similar to New Hope in Episode 4. I feel that way with Deadpool 1 and 2. It's, like, very, very similar. And, like, I like the ending. I like how they had Juggernaut in there, and I don't remember the importance of the kid too much, but I did like the finale, the end act. I don't know, it just seemed too similar. I see theatrical or uncut version. I'm assuming this is a question for both, or is it just for 2? I think I definitely saw both in theaters. 2, I don't know if I've seen the uncut. I might have 2 specifically. I might have the uncut on DVD media, but I don't remember. I always thought Deadpool 1 was a love revenge story, and 2 was like a spiral redemption story. Fair. Doesn't change a lot. Okay. But yeah, I just thought both stories were very similar, in my opinion. So it's just like I'm watching the same movie, almost. Maybe it was just the jokes and stuff like that, but it was just more Deadpool. So if you like Deadpool, like, why wouldn't you want more Deadpool? And then we get to New Mutants, which, like I said, I did not watch. There's a reason I did not watch it. I think it came out during pandemic, so there was that. So I wasn't gonna go out and watch it. When they first announced it, they announced it as a horror film, and if you know anything about me, I am not about that, not about horror films. So I was like, maybe this one's not for me. I do remember that first initial trailer, they did have very heavy thriller horror vibes. And then if you don't know about New Mutants, it had development hell. This movie was originally supposed to launch, oh god, I want to say 2016. Let's see. Filming took place, April 2018 release was when this was supposed to come out. It was delayed so much. So much. And just, oh boy, it was in development hell. And the thing is, like, it had some cast members that, like, I was like, oh, cool, so-and-so's in it. Like Macy Williams from Game of Thrones. We had, what's the guy's name? Charlie Heaton from Stranger Things. Like, it had cool actors in it. And I was like, oh, all right. But yeah, it just, oh god, just never could get off the runway, and finally pumped it out in August, and yeah, I don't think it did too well. Jeff says he enjoy it, but he can enjoy about everything. Fair enough. I mean, hey, if it's good and people liked it, more power to them. I don't know if I have any interest to see it at all. Giving everything mixed with horror. Yeah, no, I'm not about that. Not about that. So yeah, I don't know. A lot of ups and downs with the X-Men films. We mentioned earlier the timeline stuff. There's some characters that don't get enough screen time or like don't get enough love. Like Psylocke was in movies for like a second. Like Olivia Munn was in, I think it was Apocalypse, and didn't do shit. We talked about the Sabretooth recast. The recast was good. We got Blob just being a fun little cameo. Jubilee also being in fucking Apocalypse, doing not much. X-23 was great. I love cheeseburgers. New Mutants was no cheeseburger. I enjoyed it. Fair enough. Yeah. I got some good Juggernaut stuff. Let's see, who else we got in here? We got Katie Pryde in there. Yeah. Never see the road cut of Days of Future Past? I think I did. That didn't change too much either, did it? I know I own it. I'm pretty sure I've watched it. But, yeah, it didn't end up changing that much either, if I recall. Yeah, I don't know. It, like, just with the recent WandaVision stuff, it just had me thinking of, like, what happened with those movies. Obviously, Disney bought out Fox and all that stuff. So, it's not like those movies are continuing, but it's going to be interesting to see, obviously, with Disney now owning these rights, like, are we going to start fresh with the X-Men, or are we going to somehow try and take the multiverse aspect and throw these characters in? Which, if they do, like, okay, which ones do we want? Which ones don't we want? Like, because there's the pluses and minuses of the franchise entirely. So it's going to be interesting to see how these X-Men characters come into play in the MCU, if they do, which most likely they will, because they are popular characters. But, like, how do you work those in their history? Because there's a lot of it without, like, shoehorning it or just being like, oh yeah, they were around the whole time, you just didn't notice it. Like, I don't think they would do that. So it's a matter of, like, how do you do this in a smart way that works, I guess. So, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Jeff says wait, so. Want to know has reality powers, so she could kind of add them in. Is that what you're saying? Just like, Hex rewrites DNA. Yeah, that's what we're talking about with Photon. She can expand it. Mm-hmm. So are all the people in the town now going to be mutants or superpowered? Yeah, she snaps and covers the planet. Really going House of M with it. Maybe. It's the power of the Mind Stone. It gives them their powers, and then from there she can kind of give them theirs. Yeah, I mean, there's well, she'd add mutants, yes, I guess. But same concept of like snap and then things change. Yeah, so it's either we could use that, Wanda giving them powers, or Hulk mentioned it in Endgame, the snap causing a big amount of radiation in that area. I think that would be a sly way to kind of add that, because I mean, why otherwise why bring up that data that fact unless it was just like, I have to be the one that snapped because I've survived radiation, blah blah blah, which it could have been. It's just like that could be once again a sly way of them nudging that in there. The thing is, like, okay, do you use the history of Magneto and Xavier, or do you just skip that entirely? Because, like, obviously Magneto has the history of World War II and whatnot. Do you just kind of go in with whole new mutants or these characters or whatever? But they'll figure it out. There was rumors of Storm for Black Panther 2, but we don't know what's going on with that film and those things, so who knows? Assume they start with sprinkling secondary characters, not going to shove a new Wolverine. Oh, yeah, no. I don't think that either. No, for sure. They'll be smart about it. It's just like, how is the big question. Not like, I don't have faith in them. I'm just curious of like, what's their idea going to be that is going to logically explain these things? Like, how are you going to introduce these characters in the universe is all I'm thinking. Just something.